Everyone fears for their lives and tries their best to avoid notorious executioners, but fate has written dangerous experiences for some. The cartels are known for being brutal with their victims, and one terrifying torture method includes cannibalizing their victims. A dark and disturbing reality looms within the savage confines of criminal cartels, where treachery is commonplace. It contradicts every aspect of being human. The most dangerous criminal organization in the world is said to be Mexico's CJNG, or Jalisco New Generation Cartel. They are infamous for testing the limits of brutality. Their inclination towards aggression and the utilization of lethal armaments are widely recognized. The depths of depravity to which they stoop when treating victims expose the true horrors that they unleash. This piece examines the gruesome torture techniques utilized by the CJNG, specifically their abhorrent practice of cannibalism. We probe the cruel domain of this dreaded gang of criminals. Infamy surrounds the CJNG, which stands for the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. They are considered to be the world's most perilous criminal organization. They hold a grip of terror across Mexico. They are notorious for their love of extreme violence and constant desire to surpass all boundaries of savagery. The reputation of this ruthless cartel for violence and breaking the law has made people fearful, including both authorities and civilians. The CJNG has destroyed with its complete disregard for authority and bold actions, from drug trafficking to extortion to kidnapping and racketeering. Their insidious deeds know no bounds. Still, what makes them unique compared with other criminal organizations is their determination to take drastic actions. Shocking the entire nation with their extreme boldness, CJNG brought down a Mexican military helicopter using a rocket-propelled grenade. Not only did this brazen act showcase their access to cutting-edge weapons, but it also illustrated their rebellious nature towards perceived boundaries. CJNG conveyed the message without ambiguity that they will not hold back in shielding their criminal ventures from anyone who tries to harm them. Despite this, the genuine extent of CJNG's malevolence is shrouded by secrecy, as it lies within how they abuse those unfortunate enough to cross them. Swift and ruthless retribution await anyone who dares to betray in this world. Those who happen to fall into their clutches will suffer a fate that is even worse than death. By subjecting victims to unimaginable horrors, the CJNG seeks to create fear and ensure loyalty while eradicating any inclination toward treachery. Even when knowing the dangers of crossing the CJNG, El Cholo, who was a member of the cartel, chose to betray his team. This led to him facing many horrors in his last hours of existence, as betrayal is not taken lightly in the CJNG cartel. There is one person called El Mencho, who is the most feared individual of the CJNG. As of this moment, there is no record of any dangerous and brutal terrorist organization on the surface of Earth. But there was one organization known as the CJNG, which is the most brutal group to ever exist. Many cartels have a certain line which they fear to cross, but this is not the case with the CJNG. They crossed all the limits of brutality and cruelty in their time. They may not be as powerful as the Sinaloa cartels, but they certainly have a terrifying reputation. They tend to be as brutal as they wish to be and possess some deadly weapons. The victims of CJNG were tortured in the most creative and evil ways possible. No one would dare cross their path if they valued their lives. The CJNG is notorious for being the most dangerous criminal organization globally, and its terrorizing influence spreads across Mexico. Their fame comes from their propensity for extreme violence, exceeding all previous bounds of barbarity. Both authorities and citizens are equally frightened by this heartless cartel that has become synonymous with bloodshed and lawlessness. Leaving a path of destruction behind, the CJNG engages in deadly turf wars while boldly ignoring authority. From drug trafficking to extortion, kidnapping, and racketeering, they partake in various insidious activities. Nevertheless, their ability to take extreme measures sets them apart from other criminal organizations. Even so, it is within their treatment of victims that the CJNG's true viciousness lies hidden. In a realm where betrayal is answered with rapid and merciless revenge, individuals unlucky enough to be caught face an outcome that is worse than death. The CJNG implements a brutal method of operation where they make their victims experience unfathomable horrors aimed at eliciting fear, securing loyalty, and wiping out any possibility of betrayal. The harrowing process of recruitment for those aspiring to join CJNG tests their commitment and resilience. Those who are easily disturbed should avoid these rituals. Concerning reports imply that victims experience cannibalistic behaviors, a disturbing exhibition of control. It is additionally a method to eliminate any remaining humanity among their group. The CJNG's total power and control are highlighted through such repulsive practices. They dismantle any lingering empathy or morals within their group. The organization seeks to instill an atmosphere of total obedience and unflinching allegiance by incorporating torture into its initiation traditions. The purpose of these challenging trials is to eliminate all traces of the recruit's humanity and individuality through brutal physical and mental hardships. It swaps them with mute compliance to the cartel's aims. People who make it through the agony become trained soldiers, ready to perform dreadful actions without any second thoughts. The cartel's hitmen, their extensively skilled executioners, epitomize the manifestation of merciless brutality. Their capacity for brutality is unflinching, and they follow orders with loyalty. The harsh reality within the CJNG is that betrayal is not an option and results in certain death. Torture is an intrinsic and deliberate component of the CJNG, also known as the Jalisco New Generation Cartel's harrowing realm, and not just an occasional or peripheral occurrence. It is a core and planned ingredient of their time and power. Falling into their clutches is a terrible misfortune, as the gruesome fate that awaits surpasses even death's horrors. To instill a paralyzing sense of fear and maintain unwavering loyalty, the CJNG employs torture and eliminates any potential betrayal in its ranks. The CJNG's reign of terror is backed by their sicarios, who are highly skilled assassins with an unimaginable level of violence and cruelty. The detached operatives perform tasks with steadfast fidelity, revealing no mercy to their subjects. CJNG members who betray their colleagues face quick and ruthless punishment, usually culminating in agonizing mortality designed to set an example for others. Inspired only by his overpowering ambition, once a trusted and highly ranked member of CJNG under El Mencho's leadership, El Cholo set on an ominous journey. His yearning for control and dominance grew parallel to his rising authority within the cartel. El Cholo acted on his selfish motives and began carrying out undercover operations while also stealing from the organization that he should have been serving. El Cholo conducted hits without seeking El Mencho's approval, fueling the flames of his betrayal. By engaging in these unauthorized acts, he not only exhibited his growing rebellion, but also openly defied the CJNG's power. El Cholo and El Mencho's ongoing rebellions only served to deepen their divide until it culminated in a devastating face-off. Finally, El Cholo made the daring choice to separate from CJNG and create his illegal operation, Nueva Plaza. The two cartels were plunged into a violent and bloody war after this act of betrayal. The CJNG responded with a relentless attack, seeking to crush El Cholo and his newfound power due to their reputation for being merciless and determined. The criminal underworld was thrown into chaos and violence when the CJNG clashed with Nueva Plaza in an unprecedented event. As both factions battled it out for control, unsuspecting civilians were caught in between, resulting in bloody streets. New heights of violence were reached as communities were torn apart and innocent lives perished. Communities were taken hostage by the ongoing violence as CJNG and Nueva Plaza continued their war. The criminal underworld clashing titans had them trapped. Law enforcement agencies had a difficult task in stopping the bloodshed. The unwavering aspiration for power and dominance posed a danger of consuming everything along its trajectory. CJNG's cruel reputation causes an atmosphere filled with apprehension and terror among its members. Stories of individuals who have become prey to the cartel's revenge are lessons for those who dare. Their actions uphold the belief that loyalty comes above everything else, and any disloyal act will be punished severely. The CJNG feels constant dread and suspicion of betrayal in all aspects of their lives. This statement reminds us that trust is not easy to obtain, And even slight doubts about loyalty can cause significant problems. The powerful fear prevents the members of the cartel from breaking their silence or loyalty to each other. The prospect of encountering the terrifying fate reserved for those who dare to betray is making them reluctant to take any risks. The CJNG's reign of terror is identified by its unwavering cruelty and indifference to human life. Savage acts of cannibalism and pushing the boundaries beyond comprehension are some of the ways in which this criminal organization operates. The legend surrounding El Cholo exemplifies how the act of betrayal can trigger an unremitting pattern of cruelty and payback. Lives are still being destroyed by the grip of Cartel's web. Their continued acts of violence and savagery have earned CJNG a place among the world's most dreaded criminal outfits. Everywhere they leave behind a trail of disaster and unimaginable torment. The battle against this despotic rule remains in progress. Both communities and law enforcement agencies are struggling with the immense responsibility of bringing justice to those affected by CJNG's heinous criminal activities.